모닝 파워! 모닝 터보!
Or he could just beat you in a macro game. So I feel like herO's even a harder opponent for Classic, and I would for Ryung than Classic, and I would definitely favor herO in this one. But Ryung, you can't really count this guy out. He's a good player too.
Yeah, I feel like there's a spectrum, especially for Protoss players, because there are so many viable builds that have been figured out. Where either you're on the Myungshik side of the spectrum, you just always only cheese every game, or you're like on more of like the Rain side, where you just only ever macro all the time. But I feel like herO has a really good sort of happy balance in between everything. So really don't know exactly what we're going to be seeing from him. I think our closest series by far of the night is going to be our second series.
Yeah.
Still some questions to answer about Byun. Is he back? Is he still having a little bit of a struggle? I was like talking about him right as he walked by.
He like walked out with his keyboard bag and everything. I'm like, where's he going?
He's like,
to play later.
Sorry, guys,
like, he's like, nah, I've had enough. Actually, I'm retiring right now.
I think it
looks like he's just going to the back
settings
or something.
And stuff. Yeah. So. He's not leaving. If I see him walk out the other door, then I know that something's actually wrong, and we're like, whoa.
Well, the puppy's not here today, so already something is wrong, Rapid. Very unhappy about this. Well, the pictures remain, and you could watch the VOD if you want to.
I miss that puppy so much. In case you guys... Sorry.
In case we what?
In case you didn't... no, I just said everything over there. Yeah, in case you didn't see the last broadcast of SSL Challenge, Byun brought his Byuppy with him.
Oh, yeah.
So cute.
So, literally so small.
The best part. I mean, the games were good, but also the puppy came to the studio. So.
It was a great way to top off the night. You know, good games, and we had that interview with, and I think he lost too.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Nah, it's fine. I got my Byuppy. It's all good."
He still won, or he still advanced to round 2 because the player that could have kicked him out lost. So yeah, he was in a good spot. So
that's why we had that interview with him, even though he lost. Don't get those very, very often. A loser interview.
Should contract him to do like a Jin Air mascot thing where you like put like a Jin Airplane wing on his puppy and the puppy just runs around.
That would be pretty cute.
Oh my god! Hire me right now, Jin Air. I've got the best ideas.
You gotta dye the little puppy's hairs green. Potentially.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Or you could just give it like a Jin Air sweater with wings. That's okay too.
I think that's.
But if you were a true Jin Air fan, which I guess Byun wouldn't really be, because
when we're casting the finals, guys, Brendan and I are gonna like rip open our shirts and reveal like we've got a Jin Air painted underneath there.
Got a Jin Air tattoo, man. Jin Air airplane, just like this.
Take it off.
Yep. Except it's going down.
Well, I mean, how else are you supposed to fly better fly, right?
It's true.
I wonder if at the finals they'll have like little Jin Air butterfly like hand stamps to tell who's gone in or not.
That would be cool.
I'd get a Jin Air hand
That'd be pretty creative.
All right, well, this guy not on Jin Air. He is on Root Gaming. This is herO. I thought his name would be maybe a little bit better if instead of a capital O, he put a 0 so that I could meme about it. But instead, it is just a capital O herO. Former CJ Entis player, Pro League legend, and good enough to make it to the SSL Fast Lane.
Yeah, this guy, he's won an SSL before, beating his teammates in the past. BL, they were both on CJ. Poor BL, very depressed after that finals. But herO, he is a champion of this tournament, wants to get up to Premier and become a champion once again. He's going up against this Terran player, Ryung, who got 2nd place in Group A. I don't really remember who got first. I guess TY? Or maybe
first player to make it out of the group was herO, I thought.
But herO was Group B.
Right, but he was Group B. Okay, so I'm not actually sure about Group A, but he did get 2nd place in it. Widely renowned for his TVT, but not necessarily for his PVT. And especially against a guy like herO, you've always got to kind of be on your toes, which, I don't know, unless there's some ballerinas watch. If you're like a ballerina, and every time I say stay on your toes, you get a little bit triggered by that, then A, let us know because it's cool to have you watching, and B, definitely going to be something very true for Ryung as he faces off against herO in our first matchup of the night. Belshire Vestige, Abyssal Reef, Daybreak Whirlwind, and Newkirk Precinct.
Yeah. Kind of interesting to see all the choices, too. You can see that Ryung picks Whirlwind and Frost first, the 2 4-player maps. He wants to play big macro games where he can be greedy, get to the mid and late game. That's where he feels like he's confident. Whereas herO, he goes for the exact opposite. Newkirk Precinct, Belshire Vestige, Overgrowth, 3 of our shorter maps, 3 of our smallest maps, and all 5 maps that he picked are 2-player maps. He did not pick Whirlwind or Frost.
Yep.
So you
yeah.
can kind of see going into it the way that these guys want to play out or what maps that they feel comfortable on in the respective matchups.
Yeah, so I guess for Ryung, he's definitely going to be wanting to move on towards the latter half of our map roster, hit things like Whirlwind, which is just like the biggest map, and thankfully we have not moved on to the new map pool just yet. I don't want to see any PVTs on Blood Boil tonight.
No.
But yeah, we're still sticking to a little bit of the older maps, even though we won't be seeing Frost. Say, shed a single tear.
Single frozen tear. No, I'm actually pretty happy we don't get to see that map. I mean, it's okay, but I've casted so many games on that map that I'm okay to welcome some of these other ones in.
Well, let's welcome ourselves and everyone out there joining us here for our first game in this SSL class, or SSL Challenge Round 2. It's herO versus Ryung. Let's go ahead and get it started. Okay. Wow.
Everything just entered slow motion for a little bit, guys. It wasn't the stream.
There we go. All right. Perfect timing, Brendan. We're so good at this. Oh, boy. All right. So, fly better flying down to the bottom right-hand corner in the yellow as the probe toss. It is OSC Roots herO.
Looking for that perfect, ideal height on his chair. And he's up against this guy, the blue Terran. It is Ryung.
Ryung's chilling out, man. He looks like the most relaxed pro gamer I have seen in a while.
Yeah.
It's all right. First game of round 2, just, chilling out, playing against one of the best players in the world. Oh my God! And they're spawning at cross positions, Brendan. Oh my. Okay.
I like the way that you put that. One of the best players in the world. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, he is. He is actually
good to be
just so sick.
Yeah.
And we're here in Challenge. Like, this is not even Premier. I feel like we should call them, like, Stage A and Stage B, because you look at some of the players in Challenge, like TY, like he's won in one tournament more than any other player in StarCraft who hasn't won BlizzCon. So I'm just saying, like, oh my goodness, these guys are so good.
I was at that tournament. It was so funny too because he kind of just destroyed a bunch of foreign players and then played Maru in the finals.
I mean, to be fair,
it went to Game 7.
Yeah,
and it was really close, and Maru himself won $100,000, so not bad. But that's a really big prize pool and a big amount of money to pick up.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about him a little bit later on as he faces off against Deer. But speaking of proxies, Brendan, where is this factory being built?
It's not in his main, and it's close to herO, so that's why you can say it's pretty close.
Yeah,
proxied.
I don't know. It looks like a day of precipitation on the Iberian Peninsula, Brendan.
Whoa.
Because there, the rain in Spain stays mainly on the plains, just like the factory being built right there.
And that's, I wonder what that's going to be. I mean, he's going to make a starport right away and one Widowmine, so it is going to be, in fact, Widowmine drop. Is he actually just going to scout this? It's so close.
Buff Pro vision range. I don't know. Wow, you scout exactly where that proxy would have been placed.
That's pretty crazy, though, because if you're going to scout for a proxy over there, he's not going to make the buildings in the mineral line, right? He's going to make it behind. So I'm kind of confused as to why he didn't go the full distance.
Yeah, also there are 3 Marines here to push the probe back away. I mean, it's always nice to deny scouting, but I mean, this is next level. Hey, I really don't want you to get in here and see what's going on. And already he'll be able to see that there's no...
It's a Cyclone.
Natural. Why is it? Okay.
One Widowmine and one Cyclone.
The Cyclone drop. Okay. All right. Haven't exactly seen this combination before. A lot of times you'll see Widowmine drops, and I think that's much more common.
And this is going to be very unexpected for herO, I would have to guess. And when you think about it, the units that are going to be used to come over and defend against the Widowmines are not going to be good against the Cyclone. So the Widowmine's going to drop out. They're going to be like, okay, we can try to defend this, and then a Cyclone pops out, and they're like, oh, we can't deal with this. He's also pushing with Marines across the map.
Okay, so this is going to be a really weird kind of, I want to call it a little bit of an all-in, but it's like a proxy into a bunch of other weird stuff. And here we go.
Oh,
starting
off, see it.
No, oh my goodness, 5 probes. That is a great Widowmine. It's going to be revealed, but that's less energy for this Oracle, and he'll need everything he can get.
And that was 1/6 of his economy, too. 5 out of 30 probes that he had. That's a lot of economy at this point in the game.
completely evens up the probe count, and this natural is not going to be worth it.
Oh man, he targets down that Oracle too. The bunker is still building, kiting those Adepts with the Marines. It looks like eventually he will be able to clean this up, including the medevac, but already 12 probes have gone down. There's a Liberator here.
Oh my god, then that means the Adepts actually carelessly left in the Liberation Zone. One will go down. These Phoenix are coming out, but did any Marines actually make it in that bunker?
No.
I don't think so.
There's a tank too.
Try to cram the tank in the bunker.
And I have to question this because he is going to have enough energy here for a lift in just a bit. But I guess not yet. So the follow-up here is actually Cloak Banshees, of course, guys. If you know,
this is Myung-Sik reincarnated in Terran form. I don't know. This is the weirdest sort of rush push cheese proxy, but I mean it looks super cool. Unfortunately, the Adepts cutting off reinforcements, and wisely enough, herO just saying, okay, I'm just going to weaken your army. I'm going to go dish out some harassment of my own. And yeah, there's nothing really here to fight these Phoenix and Adepts.
Yeah, the Adepts with
combined
the
together.
He can give up that Nexus because he knows it's one base versus one base. And if he goes Banshees, that's going to be the real problem because he doesn't have detection. But they're not going to have energy forever.
And you know, even though we're talking about how innovative kind of Ryung's build is, I really want to focus on the innovative unit composition herO's gone for, building a lot of Adepts and Phoenixes.
No one's seen this before.
I mean, I'm watching it, and it just looks so good. Oh my god, all right, yeah, look at these Adepts. They're not even, they're not armored units, so they don't take the bonus damage. They're be able to lift up and kill off that Cyclone. Oh boy, Brendan.
Look at this. I mean, herO was just kind of, he was counting on not having to deal with Cloak Banshees, and I feel like this Cloak Banshee is just really a fantastic idea by Ryung. He knows that he's going to be weak on the detection. There's nothing here. He immediately has to call it GG, and that's going to be game 1 to Ryung.
Oh, this is like a, I don't know, if an onion was made out of cheese, like you peel back the layers, there's always one more layer of cheese underneath. Oh my god.
That was pretty sick.
Rarely do you just see the straight up, you got me, hands up, GG. You're like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he had nothing to deal with it, so there you go. And remember what we were saying is like, oh, he picked Whirlwind, he picked Frost. He's probably going to be greedy. He's going to be sitting back. He wants to go macro. Ryung's like,
Little did he know.
What are you guys talking about? Actually, this is going to be fantastic.
It was fantastic. Yeah. It was a little bit weird. I could never tell exactly the point where Terran player is just going to be like, okay, well, this is just a pressure proxy, right? You go for things like Widowmine drop. You drop the double Widow Mines, you're like, okay, we're done. And then you expand behind that. But Ryung was just like, okay, he's not expanding. Then he just like pushes out across with the Marines. You're like, whoa, he is really going in for this. And then once the Adepts got across the map, I was like, okay, well, this could be a big problem for Ryung because he's just never going to get reinforcements. And even if you kill the natural, it's like, okay, well, now what? And now what was Cloaked Banshees? And after killing off that Oracle earlier on, it's like, well, you got me.
Yeah. Definitely got him there, and maybe this was just one of the builds that he wanted to use for the 2-player maps. You know, herO, he wanted to play on these shorter maps. So when it comes to Ryung being forced to play on a shorter map like this, maybe he's got some really weird cheese. And if there's one way to take out herO, who I guess herO and TY are the big 2 names here in SSL Challenge right now, this is maybe the way to do it. Take 1 game at a time in a best of 5.
Indeed, Brendan, taking 2 games at a time would be pretty broken, so we're going to do it 1 more coming up. herO versus Ryung. Hopefully, herO will be a little bit better on his scouting. That probe zoomed right on by that last proxy. We'll see if he can find it this time around.
Hopefully. So here we go into map number 2. Is going to be Abyssal Reef. And up here in the top left, the yellow Protoss, it is herO.
Indeed it is. herO always looks like super focused and lasered in on the screen. And Ryung's just chilling out. And this is the blue Terran player, Ryung, who also looks incredibly relaxed. Like, okay, I know how to build Cloak Banshees. Those are pretty good too.
And apparently he knows how to do this.
Oh my god, what an SCV. Also, this is kind of an interesting proxy location as well. A lot of times you'll see Terran players try to build it like as close as possible by the 3rd base, but building it out a little bit more, this also may be difficult for herO to scout.
Yeah. Definitely a safe proxy. And I wonder what it's going to be with the 2 gases coming out here. He might just immediately go into a factory afterwards. He's definitely going to start with the Reaper, get up into the main, do a little bit of damage.
Yeah, so this is going to be not just, you know, barracks units. Sometimes I was watching, who was it? Innovation stream the other day, and he played a couple games in a row with proxy, like 2 or 3 racks. That's a little bit dirty, but we're going to be teching up at least a little bit here. I mean, this could just be one proxy Reaper. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be as game-ending as the proxy was in the second game, but what if he decides to like go and then proxy the second building in a different place? Now that's the next level that we haven't quite seen out here.
Yeah, he's just gonna make it at home. This is what I was thinking. Just go for that one Reaper and then make the wall with your factory. You can make these units safe. You put on a little bit of pressure. You kind of freak herO out a bit too, because he's going to get over there really fast.
Yeah, and the Reaper should actually scout out that Stargate coming up when he hops over the wall. And, I mean, with the new changes to Reapers, I wouldn't be surprised if he just instead tried to focus down that pylon by the Stargate. This thing is way too early to have anything really to do with it.
Surround!
Oh my god, herO's a god. What am I watching right there? That is not fair, Brendan.
That was sick. And, you know, Ryung, just for 1 second, he's looking the wrong way, maybe back at his base, and he just, you know, puts the Reaper on auto attack onto the one probe, and herO immediately identifies it and then says, okay. And by the way, Ryung is not done.
Did I call it? Did I call it? I'm pretty sure I called that. When he's done with one proxy, there's always one more coming up. And this time in a different location, it's going to be Stargate, or Starport versus Stargate. You want to call it that. Oracle about halfway done, and there's a Cyclone on the way.
Wonders what he's going to be making out of this. Will the tech lab come down? Looks like
there it is.
Probably Banshees. The SCV is still here.
I want to see a game in which the Cloak Banshee comes in, the Oracle like misses its revelation, the Protoss player just GG types out because he doesn't have enough energy for another one. Second Reaper gets completely bamboozled out of this game. He was like, let me just hop up the cliff, and then no. All right, well, it is going to be more Cloak Banshees. Why is that SCV patrolling there? That's my question.
I think, you know, if this probe would have seen the SCV coming back, that would have been a big tell, but this is an even bigger tell. He's like, wait, you don't have a CC, and we're 4 minutes into the game, and this is Legacy of the Void? Yeah, this doesn't make sense.
Right, and look at these two Oracles. herO wisely keeping them back at home. He knows, hey, there's no expansion. All I have to do is sit here back on 2 base, and theoretically he'll win the game. Now, that's a big theory, because he is going to have these Cloaked Banshees pooled and on their way.
Yeah, I mean, herO, he could get unlucky and move out with those 2 Oracles and the Phoenixes, or, you know, maybe he's just out on the map, or Ryung is able to get a little bit of damage first, and it doesn't necessarily become a full waste, but herO definitely in a good spot. It's really his mistake to make, and he's even taking a 3rd base. He's saying, okay,
wow,
I know you're doing something weird, but I'm confident I can defend against it.
That 3rd base is a little... that's sort of like the win more base. Like, if you have 2 bases versus your opponent's 1, and you hang on and live with that, you kind of just win the game anyway, because they'll mine out, and it'll be hard for them to expand, and all these other things. But going for a 3rd when you know your opponent's still stuck on 1 base and has just successfully proxy rush all into you in game number 1, I don't know. We'll see if he is made to pay for it. First Banshee on the way out. Second coming up shortly there behind
Banshee? Like, there's another one going into the main. This is going to be targeted down.
Yeah, and the one in the main
that was the
really
bait
good.
Banshee. What the hell? Is this
How
actually
is Ryung
working?
so good at this game? I wish.
It's ridiculous.
So look at the player cameras. Those are really going to be the telltale story. He did have enough for a second revelation, but still several probes will go down. A big investment, and there is still another Banshee on the way, and I don't know if there's going to be detection in time for that. I don't know exactly the rate at which energy on Oracles recharges, guys. Sorry, I'm a fraud.
I mean, that's just a really funky way to play, right? He even makes a 3rd Banshee, and now he's flying this away, and he's going to build a okay, he's going to decide against that. I was like, Ryung, okay, you can only go so far, right? But I think he saw the Phoenix And, well, he knew he was spotted, and he's like, okay, I need to sacrifice one of these Banshees. But the third Banshee, for me, I'm just like, okay, that's a little bit overzealous with your idea. I think you just
over Banshee.
Yeah, you gotta just let it go, and just.
And if it comes back to you, that's how you know it loves you.
Yeah.
I think I read that on Tumblr once. That's where I go for all my sick build orders, Brendan.
Love build orders. Best place to check them. But I mean, seriously, when you look at this game, that harass really didn't do much. You know, 3 cloak Banshees, all of that tech, and you get 6 probes. That's just not enough. You know, the Reaper did a little bit of damage, 1 kill, but after that, it really just isn't much. And all the upgrades for Ryung are very far behind. His tech is behind. His economy is miles behind, as he got that natural very late compared to the third base that came up before the natural of Ryung for herO. And herO now he's powering up on 3 bases. He's got 8 gateways, getting all the tech in the world. And that right there is pretty much Ryung's army that you guys just saw out on the map. These are the
right as you said that, it panned over to the single Cyclone. I was like, whoa, if that's his army, then he is really screwed. But here we go, double dropships. You know what I like to build out of my proxy reactor starports? Double dropships. Those are coming out, and they will be meeting up with the rest of this army. However, the push is totally dealt with by Blink Stalkers already mitigating this, taking out Marines on the way. herO just in such a good spot.
He's kind of identified this, and with the Blink Stalkers, it's great to be active. And this is where we see Blink Stalkers actually work. Sometimes when we watch Zest play, it doesn't really work out. But
well, we're not going to be doing a whole lot more of that. At least not in GSL. But here we go. Widowmine actually coming through. Wow, gets so many probes and damages all of those. I was going to call them oracles. They're ground
Sentries.
oracles that don't shoot beams
Snow
anywhere.
globes?
Well, is that what people used to call it? Wait, what is that? Oh, Brendan.
Yeah.
That's like a Protoss Rifkin drop.
I mean, it's kind of interesting that he sends it there, but a good catch by Ryung.
Another nice reveal. That time not on units that cloak themselves, but it's still enough to give him the idea of exactly what he's going up against. And, you know, now it looks like that third base decision was maybe not quite as greedy as they made it out to be. He dealt with the Cloak Banshees earlier, and now this is the, okay, you know, you had your fun proxying a bunch of stuff, now it's my turn. I'm going to proxy you with my army, whoa!
Yeah, it's a pretty sizable army that he does have here. I think he might attempt to, he's actually going to just
he still
reveal those.
Oracle. One more Widowmine than he thought there was going to be. So, you know, in all seriousness, guys, this is herO just really being very conscientious about not only how much he needs to defend and using the information that he was able to find out to just macro up an insane gateway army. I mean, this is just so many cycles here. Blinking forward very, very confidently. herO with way too many units, even to fire here on Ryung's army.
And he's going to blink on in once again. All those Widowmines, they got that one shot off, but that was about it. Another warp in, and GG. herO's going to tie it up 1-1. And yeah, I mean, basically just the follow-up to Ryung's extremely funky build that just did not really work.
Yeah, those Widowmines had one shot, one opportunity, but they let it slip, and that's what happens. You lose game 2 in the opening day of round 2 of the SSL challenge.
Yeah, but I like that he's doing weird stuff. You know, he's kind of respecting herO in a weird way. He's saying, okay, I don't feel confident playing you head-to-head on smaller 2-player maps, so I'm just going to do weird, funky stuff that you wouldn't expect. But in a best-of-5 series, that's where it's like, okay, you got to kind of stop at some point. You know, game 1, I feel like, was the free win where it's like, okay, weird, funky build. Now you go into macro. But game 2 was like, the 3 Cloak Banshees that got 6 probes, not really my style.
So to be fair, our 4th map in the pool is Whirlwind, and that means that all Ryung kind of had to do is just win 1 game, and that means he is going to make it to his big badass macro map. So we'll see if that changes his play style. Maybe he just goes for the proxy you really don't expect on the biggest map. I don't know about that, but either way,
no, please.
I mean,
don't do it to me, Ryung.
How many proxies were we going to see tonight? We saw it once and it was cool, and then he proxied once and then moved the proxy to a different place and then moved it again afterwards. I don't know. It's all tied up at 1-1, which makes this essentially a best of 3. Still kind of getting used to the idea of best of 5s here, but
yeah. Now that we have entered stage 2, this is the land of best of 5s, so get used to it. And of course, I think we're going to have 4 days in a row of stage 2, or maybe it's 5. 4 or 5 days, and then we will get into that fast lane. But either way, guys, we are going to start game number 3.
Same way we start every game, Brendan. I fly better flying into a Protoss. Well, usually. And there he is, OSC Roots herO. Good defense.
Yeah, he's going up against this guy, being pretty crazy today. It's Ryung.
Who looks like the least crazy player.
Yeah, he looks super calm.
Put his face on the billboard next to, I don't know, some advertisement for a crazy energy drink, like Thorn Gristle Pump Juice. I think that was Day 9's energy drink. But good times. I don't think Ryung would advertise that very well. He's just like, yeah, guys, I'm drinking. I'm just hanging out here. I'm having a good time in proxy and stuff.
Oh, look at this. Ryung's trying to go CC first, but herO actually sent out this probe right at the beginning of the game.
How do you know? He's going to actually throw down the CC off center, which I'm not sure why more Terrans don't do when they try to get blocked there by the probe. But, I mean, this is just going to get not only scouted ahead of time, but we'll see how herO now decides to go into maybe trying to punish it.
This probe, we've been seeing this more and more often in this matchup, PvT. He just comes over here and you sacrifice a lot of mining early on, but like I say, the Void, you start with more workers, so it's kind of okay. And you can really mess with the Terran's economy even more than your own, because he has to sacrifice so many of his SCVs to just deal with this one probe.
Yeah, and 2 racks here coming up means that this is like a lot to invest in infrastructure early on. This is the point where, I mean, Ryung doesn't know, but if he were getting proxied right now, and he kind of knows because the probe was there so fast, but if he were getting proxied right now, he would just be dead. I mean, what? He has no attacking units, and especially if it was like a Stargate, then you are extra dead.
Yeah, herO going for his own Nexus, so not going to be any fast Stargate. But Ryung kind of locked up in his own base, doesn't really know that just yet. We'll see what the follow-up is here from herO. This is very common, that Stargate follow-up. And having the 3 barracks is a good way to just play it safe against this kind of Protoss play. When you do go CC first, you get enough Marines to kind of defend against the majority of stuff.
Pretty solid strategy, defending against the majority of stuff. Highly recommend, guys, if you want to try that one out at home. That is the, it's okay to try this at home, not the don't try this at home. Yeah. Like both of our other games have been.
Very safe, nice build, definitely recommend.
Yeah. Games 1 and 2 were definitely do not try this at home. That's where you're not fast enough on your APM and you try the proxy, but he has, like, you know, siege tanks and guardians out, and you're like, well, how do you have that as Protoss? I don't know. Oh boy. Also, going to be seeing still a Stargate, this time not proxied, but just a super solid start here for herO. I feel like this is you know, a normal day at the office for him. He's just got to have to deal with this crazy upstart Ryung doing all kinds of weird things.
And look at Ryung coming on in here right at the timing for this 3rd Nexus. He hides the SCV.
Ooh, okay, well at least it will get scouted here, right? Okay, yeah. It is revealed, but so is herO's 3rd base, so even though herO's natural may have been a little bit slower, his 3rd will be way ahead of Ryung's.
Yeah, it's good for Ryung that he does get that scout. You could see the fast tech lab that does come out with this build, as you do want to get that stim as fast as possible. And this Oracle is going to come in here. There are only 5 Marines in this group, it looks like, so far. And he's already able to do a lot of damage. 6, 7 SCVs. Remember, a bunch of those SCVs were weak from the probe harass, so that's why he was able to one-shot one of those SCVs with that Oracle as it was flying away.
You gotta play the long game, guys.
Yeah, dude.
SCVs, the only worker units that do not regenerate health over time. Well, I guess probes regenerate shields, but you guys get what I mean. Should be able to thin out some even Marine numbers if he wants to, but you can see those 2 racks have been really producing those Marines pretty heavily. Already, I think, what, 30 out? No, that
was like up to 17.
17, okay. I looked and I saw like 30, and I was like, wait, where is that number coming from?
I think it was the SCVs, probably at that time.
Perhaps you are correct.
I think I am.
I think you are too.
Don't know what else it could have been.
You're so correct, Brendan.
No 30 oracles in this game. Haas isn't playing.
Shout out to that guy for the most entertaining games of StarCraft. To be fair, they've been pretty interesting tonight, and we will be seeing a lot of Protoss as the Stage 2. I keep calling it Round 2. Stage 2 continues, of course, the next few days, so there's always that potential, Brendan. A man can dream.
Yeah, I think we have 2 days where it's only PVTs, and then the other ones are 1 PvP, 1 TVT, and then 1 PVT. So, as I said before, if you like Protoss or Terran, definitely check out these games because all these players are good.
Yeah, and if you're a Zerg player and you like watching Protoss or Terran lose, then we guarantee for that to happen a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of oracles have kind of transitioned over into the just kind of watching, checking things out, seeing what's on the way here as herO starts to get up towards his big macro phase off of 3 bases. This is going to be a lot to deal with if Ryung doesn't start some pressure on. He is only on, 2 bases, so he'll either need to press out and do something about it or let herO continue to macro his way ahead.
Yeah. I wonder if you just follow the 2 medevacs, and it's only 2 medevacs, and you have 2 oracles. You could probably just snipe the Marines as they pop out and do a ton of damage. But look at this instead. Forget my crazy idea. This is kind of insane. There's no missile turret, and there's no defense.
Okay.
This is way too much damage.
Well, I think Ryung is actually just going to try to go across the map and kill herO, but he knows that he has 3 bases up, so...
Whoa. 22 kills on that 1 oracle. Holy hell.
Ryung kind of falling apart here. I mean, when you know that there's oracles out there, you at least go up to missile turrets or build some form of anti-air. But no, this is just a bunch of Marines and medevacs, and these are not going to be the Marines that you're looking for. Perfect force fields. Oh my goodness. Zoning out most of Ryung's army and whittling away at the brief forces he still has.
Love the way that herO is handling this. I think that blink forward was kind of scary, but then once I saw him control after that, I'm like, yeah, I get it now. I understand.
Yeah, you are pretty good, herO.
No resonating glaives. He doesn't need that. Blink stalkers with guardian shield and force fields is more than enough. Look at Ryung's economy. He's still on 2 bases with 30 probes. GG. 30 SCVs, that is. herO is going to take game 3 and go up 2-1.
Wow. That's almost as reminiscent of our first game, where the opponent realizes, wait a second, I just can never win this. Time to move on. And already, Brendan, maybe we might have a lot of games played tonight, but if they're all like 5 minutes long, it doesn't look like we'll be hanging out here too long. It's pretty late here in Korea, guys, and going into 3 best-of-5s. The potential for 15 games, but they're all like 5 minutes long. It won't be that long at all.
Yeah, I mean, there is still the chance that we do go to Game 5 in this series. I feel like Ryung kind of just got behind, and he was trying to go for some kind of all-in a way. He's like, I'm not going to build anything. I'm going to cut all the corners in the world and hope that I kill him with this one push. But it was kind of like he saw it coming, but he was like going straight into the brick wall, but he couldn't stop himself. Right from the beginning, like the probe getting in there, he's like, oh crap. And he's like, oh, I know I'm behind, but oh. And then he takes a bunch of damage from the oracles, and then he scouts the 3rd base, but he can't do anything about it. And then he's like, oh, I guess I'm going to try to kill him. And then as he moves out, he loses 22 SCVs, and then he gets killed in the middle of the map. I'm just like, oh, this is a Terran's worst nightmare.
Yeah, this is one of those dumpster fire builds where you look inside and you see the dumpster, and there's like some smoke coming out, and you're like, well, maybe this is bad, but I don't know yet. Then like the smoke gets heavier and the fire starts coming out, and you're like, we might have a problem here, guys. And then of course it just like goes out of control. So out of control. A great description for how Ryung, or for how herO got in game number 3. But this is coming into game number 4, and this might be Ryung's game.
Ryung's shaking his head.
He's shaking his head, man. I said it was his game. He disagrees with me. This is going to be on the map Whirlwind, a very large map.
His map. His map choice, his first map that he chose. So hopefully, I mean, he turns the way that he shakes his head to the opposite way, because it doesn't look like he has too much confidence against Protoss these days, I have to say, Rabbit.
Well, here we go. Fly better flying on to Whirlwind. A little bit of turbulence that we're about to experience at the hands of this man. It's the yellow Protoss player, herO.
And the Terran player who needs to win 2 in a row to take this day of games. It is Ryung.
Yep. Indeed it is. So it's been a little bit, I guess this is my time where I use your word, Brendan, wonky.
Wonky.
Actually, that's Wolf's
Do I
word.
say that?
No, I think it's Wolf's, yeah.
I do say wonky.
You guys both say wonky a lot.
Maybe I picked it up from him. I don't know. I've been casting with him for a long time.
I mean, the only place I know that word from is that guy that owns a chocolate factory. But this time,
no, that's Wonka.
Close enough, Brendan. Close enough.
I just wanted to make
Next
sure
thing,
you knew.
You're going to be telling me it's not pronounced Reese's Pieces.
Oh man. Those are good though. The 1+1 deal over at the nearby convenience store here.
Yep, did that earlier.
Reese's Cups and Reese's Pieces.
That triggers me so much. It's like saying it's not pronounced caramel.
Well, it's not.
It's not pronounced syrup.
Yeah, it's definitely not pronounced syrup.
It's a one-syllable word. Oh my goodness. My life is a lie.
It's like, you know, you just got put a little bit of emphasis onto the second syllable of that word. Either way, we do have a Nexus first by herO, so he's taken the major greed path this time around. And has taken both gases as the follow-up. Ryung has not scouted at all, and he went for just a Reaper expand. Whereas herO, he's like scouting all around, wants to make sure that there's no proxies. He's been traumatized a little bit from the early parts of this series.
Yeah, and I feel like you once you go up against a player, like, you know, it's different if you're going up against a player. I think the example I always use is Myung-Shik, where you just know a proxy is out there. That's like if you sweep your entire office for bugs and you don't find anything, you do another sweep because you know that they're there somewhere. This time it's actually more of a sort of guessing game, especially with this Zealot first. I mean, that will be killable, but I think instead of going for the Zealot kill, always going to be better to try to go for those probes and one lone Reaper against the world.
Yeah. Zealot is just that really tanky probe that just follows you and makes it so that you have to micro and you can't actually focus on the probes as easily.
Right, Reactor Hellion behind this, so Ryung is going to be trying to do a lot of economic damage, and especially with the Nexus first build, that is going to be what herO is going to have a lot of economy. See if Ryung can deal with it.
Well, he's going to kill that one probe who was just sticking around.
Already off to a good start, Ryung. Economic damage being done, Brendan.
Yeah. And actually sees the lift, which is kind of interesting. That's a good catch by our observer. I actually don't know who our observer is for SSL Challenge.
I do not either. I know the GSL observer is actually playing in the ASL round of 8, so he's pretty good. Wonder if our SSL observer is too.
It's secretly one of the pro gamers. It's David.
David.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, David, for that good shot.
Big fan, David.
Not sure who David is, but thanks,
we'll
David.
No, this is David Kim. He just relocated to South Korea to be an observer.
The undisclosed project, that's what he's working on here. It's actually SSL Challenge.
Oh boy, guys. All right. So we've seen attempts at poking in, and I don't think anything's really going to get through herO. Kind of remarkably surprises me how solid herO is at defending sometimes, especially because you'll get these games where he goes for like the craziest cheeses and you just die, and you're like, okay, well, you know, what do I expect against this guy? Well, the answer is just super solid play, and especially on a map like Whirlwind like this. You can get this harassment does, but this is not going to be a game that stops before 3 bases.
Yeah, the other part of his really solid play is actually fantastic Oracle control. He knows the perfect amount of time that it takes and exactly how long to stick around with that Oracle. He gets another 7 SCV kills and a Marine kill. So that makes 8 kills for that one Oracle. He's really getting that value out of those Oracles. And I have to say, Ryung is really having trouble dealing with those too. I feel like he's almost not taking them seriously enough.
Where are these missile turrets? Like, he didn't have any either for detection or anti-air in the last game, and even just upgrades in general. Just now starting combat shields. +1 is, you know, it's out there, it's on the way, but still going to be maybe looking to, you know, get up again to that big push-out timing once that does finish. I don't know. Both players just kind of hanging back for now, but herO definitely with the more effective harassment.
Yeah, would have to agree. The Hellions were kind of cute. As you were saying, it delayed some of his tech, but delayed the third base of herO by about 30 seconds, which is always pretty good. Well, here we go again. The two oracles coming by. herO looking for that money timing again. Doesn't find it this time, especially now that Stim is completed with +1. But he's keeping those Marines in the base.
Yeah, I really like how delicate herO is being here with these oracles. He is not adverse to getting in there and doing terrible amounts of damage, but he's not going to force it. He's not going to be like, I have to find a way to kill more SCVs, because you already killed 14, so you're doing pretty well. Starting now, armor upgrade for Protoss ground units, as well as glaives on the way. This will be even more SCVs killed by those double oracles, as now it's Ryung's turn to get this double mine drop off. We'll see how effective that is in the meantime.
Keeps both of those oracles alive too. Doesn't look like the mine drop did any. Okay, here we go. Here it is, coming on in, and they will burrow the immediate pull and the blink forward, trying to catch that medevac.
I think dropping both mines there may have been a little bit of an overcommitment. Okay, nice blink away. Gonna have to do it again. Ooh, blinks onto it. Oh, okay, a little bit cute there. Almost kills that medevac. 10 HP remaining as it heads for the hills.
That sentry almost killed it. If only it had a real weapon and not that little tickle gun it's got. 4 health on the medevac.
Imagine if I had a real weapon. Well, sentries kind of wish they did. Sentries, which deals more damage to air? This is our question for the audience, because Lord knows I don't know it. A sentry auto attack or a cyclone anti-air attack? Like one deals -2 damage, the other deals -3. Like, oh, okay, well that sounds about right.
Yeah, it's kind of been my experience so far, at least.
All right, well,
the sentries.
I'm pretty sure that medevac, or at least one of them, one of these medevacs has precisely 1 HP, and all of them get tagged now. So good luck, Ryung.
He's been so active with these oracles. They have really been the MVP units for herO this entire series. They do so much damage, but then afterwards he always keeps them alive, and then he always gets those tags in the middle of the map.
Oh, really conscientious there with the blink away to dodge yet more Widow Mine damage, and there's nothing but Marines here to defend against Blink Stalkers. So, spoiler alert, guys, that does not go so well. He even might be able to pick off one of those Marauders. Ooh, very close.
You can see that herO, he's trying to beat the stem, but Ryung very patient, and he says, no, I will not stem. I'm just waiting for my medevac buddies to come on over here and heal me.
And there's 22 Stalkers here coming up against almost double that number of Marines, but these Liberators are really going to be what gives Ryung the opportunity to kind of chill out. Earlier on, I made the somewhat risky prediction that this game was not going to end before players had 3 bases. Third one on the way. Good guy, herO. Keeping my predictions at least somewhat relevant. Taking out, I think those medevac, or was it Warp Prism? I forget what it was. Probably neither.
Well, a couple of Widow Mines went down.
Okay.
So
I don't
something
think I
did die, if that's what you're asking.
I just didn't see what it was. It was out of the corner of my eye, Brendan. But here we go. A massive shade through. I don't think he's going to complete that, but he's all the way past those liberation zones. And here we go, moving forward once again.
herO very patient. He had his observer sniped by Ryung, but he's waiting for more and more warp-ins.
Maybe that's what it was, Brendan. The observer snipe.
Well, in that case, he's lost 2. Has 1 more. He's just backing up, and he's still maintaining a really good concave, but Ryung, he's looking to fight half this army. Will herO actually come on in? I think he has to. Where are those shades going? They can't attack air.
This is a little, no, you don't shade that. What? He shaded under the Liberators, and
he actually mixed up the 2 sides of his army. What a funny way to take that fight. He was going to take out the Liberators.
Yeah, so I'm guessing he might have like mixed the hotkeys up or something, because I don't know, man. Either way, a little bit of damage done there by Ryung. Gets 18 probes, but hero's a Nexus up, so even that may not matter completely. Here's a big blink in there. Lots of Marauders dealing a decent amount of damage here to the Stalkers, but more and more of these Warp Gate macro rounds keep coming out, and Ryung just does not have the army.
He doesn't have enough, and the blink forward is going to come in, even 1 Immortal joining. GG herO will take the 3-1 and take his first series win here in the 2nd stage of SSL Challenge.
Congratulations there. herO very well deserving, and for Ryung, it looks like his prediction definitely came true. Unsure of his play, shaking his head coming into this last game, and even on a big map like he was trying to, this is his map choice, didn't wind up paying off, and herO takes a 3-1 victory in our first game.
Yeah. And poor Ryung, you could really tell that he wasn't feeling it tonight in terms of when it came to just his own confidence. Like, the first 2 games were kind of crazy cheeses. Like, I've never seen that all in that we saw in game number 1. And then game 2 was like 3 cloak banshees.
Weird.
And then game 3, it looked a little bit more normal, but he was behind the whole game. And then game 4 too, herO just took it to him on the map that Ryung chose first out of all of the 7 maps that we have.
Yeah, and even you could see herO's attitude there towards the end when Ryung's pushing forward, sieging, unsieging those liberators. herO's just hanging back. He's like, okay, well, you're still not killing any of my stuff. I'm just, you know, on more bases with a better economy and better macro and defender's advantage and all that other cool stuff. So, gonna wave goodbye at herO as he has taken his first victory, his first step to the fast lane.
Well, if he gets out in first, he might not even need to step foot in the fast lane.
Imagine if you're really looking forward to the fast lane, then you do too well, you get out in first, you skip it.
It's kind of a funny way that works, but a cool style that he played, too, with a lot of Blink Stalkers. You know, I was kind of making fun of Zest a little bit there halfway through. Sorry, Zest and Zest fans, but, like...
He's watching right now.
He really made those Blink Stalkers work for him. He kept those very mobile units alive and... always kept Ryung in his base with the Oracles and the Blink Stalkers. But either way, guys, that's going to do it for our first series of the night. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the next one.
Things turn, send a prayer to the ones up above. All the hate that you've heard has turned your spirit to a dove. Oh, oh.